So let me see. Yeah. Oh, come on. Did I live stream to the wrong one again? Oh my goodness. I mean, we're live. We're currently live somewhere. But it just that is such a good question. Oh, it says that we're streaming. Okay, here we go. All right. Welcome, friends. All right. Yeah, it just took a second. Okay. All righty, friends. Welcome to tonight's episode of Talking Mando with myself and my awesome co-hosts. Tonight, going from bottom to left to up is beneath me, Geek Girl 1980. Welcome, Gigi. Next to her is the Nev. Above the Nev is Paul. And tonight, we are going to discuss the Siege. Specifically, we'll walk through the episode, we'll talk about everything that we saw, and then not only will we, rate it and score it, but we will make predictions as to what is going to come next week. And I think next week we all know what is going to happen. And it is a Dave Filoni episode. Very excited. Probably. Yes, Carl Weathers. This episode was directed by Carl Weathers, aka Grief Karga, or I like to refer to Grief Karga as Carl Weathers. And I believe that Carl Weathers is every movie Carl Weathers has ever been in is just Carl Weathers in a different version of the multiverse. I mean, he fought Rocky Balboa. He fought a Predator, all of those things, right? He helped Tobias Bluth become an actor, right? All of that. But great episode. Starts off with a very oh balls.
Well, but before we begin on that,
yes. Let me fix the sound real quick.
Okay.
Is it better?
What's wrong with the sound? Somebody tell us.
I had it so where I was the focus of attention again.
Gotcha.
And, yeah.
Let us know if you can hear us now.
Yeah. Hopefully that's better. Salmon Grundy. Or is it salmon?
Solomon Grundy, born on a Monday.
Hey, died on a Tuesday. No. Was it died on Tuesday?
Married on a Tuesday.
I don't know.
It's a great movie, The Accountant.
I just think of Salmon Rushdie. Salman Rushdie. From
Yes, I checked the YouTube page, or you can hear us. You can hear
all
Paul,
right, cool beans. So then we're all pretty good. Paul, go ahead.
Christened on a Tuesday, married on a Wednesday, took ill on Thursday, grew worse on Friday, died on a Saturday, buried on a Sunday. That was the end of Solomon Grundy.
Man,
all right.
Crappy life.
Before we begin, this episode I would like to personally dedicate to Edward Stevenson, who is my wife's father, who took ill with COVID about a week ago and is battling for his life right now. I love you, Pa, and whatever happens. We know that it's all in the plan. So thank you, Thaddeus. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
You're welcome. And I can't.
It's okay. Let's talk Mando.
All right, let's talk Mando. I was gonna say something. I was trying to come up with something profound, but I got nothing. I'm not a profound kind of guy. Blunt and knobby in places. Okay, so episode was directed by Carl Weathers. Again, I feel like Carl Weathers is not his real name because I feel, anyways. We start off the episode with the Mando and Baby Yoda kind of, I don't know, sliding, just barely making it through space. And as we talked about last week, it makes sense that he needed to stop off to get repairs, so they go back to Navarro, and it's awesome. As he's landing his ship, he gets greeted by the marshal, and I'm assuming the mayor. Grief Karga is now the mayor of like
Magistrate.
Yeah, something of that, right? He's the politician in charge.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas
he's the Lando of Navarro.
Yeah, yes, right. He's the, what do they call him? Baron Administrator of Navarro. And so it's awesome that we get there. But actually before that, we get this bad A fight scene where they go through there have been some bandits in the old Mandalorian den, and you can see everything's taken down. The skull, the Mandalorian image, right? The whatever that's called was taken down. Everything's gone, or at least the people are gone, and we knew that from last time. But some Bith, those were Bith, right? I mean, I don't know. I thought they were Bith, but there's some aliens stealing some goods, like just scrounging what's left over, and Cara Dune comes in and just drops it like it's hot, just like beats the absolute crap out of
Aqualish. They were Aqualish. They're the same as our favorite Pondo Baba.
Yes. So Pondo Baba's brothers and sisters were stealing from the Mandos, and Cara just goes in and just beats the absolute crap. And it was, I think Paul said it during our watch party. It's so cool to see her using her physicality in the
that was Geek Girl.
Geek Girl,
that was Geek Girl who was geeking out about that.
But it's
well, I mean, hey, we have usually it's one at a time, but we do have some kick-ass female characters in Star Wars, and it's nice to see Cara Dune continuing the tradition that was started by Leia.
Yeah. What was that, Neil?
What she was hired to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That's what she was hired to do. I mean,
we need A, an actress, and B, an actress that can kick ass, so that we don't have to use stunt doubles.
Yeah, because it does take it out. It takes.
She is the Cynthia Rothrock of the 21st century. You know, if you needed a attractive female for a martial arts movie, you hired Cynthia Rothrock in the 80s. That was the way it was done. She was in every movie. We need a chick that can kick people's ass. Who have we got? Well, there's only one at the moment. It's Cynthia Rothrock. Okay, we'll do that. So with movies at the moment, it's either the actress that plays Cara Dune or the other one.
Yeah.
Julia Roberts is who you're thinking.
No, Julia Roberts could not convincingly kick ass. That's why a lot of action movies with women in don't work, aren't necessarily convincing, unless people are, they have a physical presence. I believe she can kick ass. It's like everybody knows that she can kick ass because she's an ex-USC fighter and she's done lots of action movies. She's built up a lot of credibility, not just as an actress, but as someone that can physically handle herself. So it's like, yeah, it's a 2-for-1. You know, all of the female stunt doubles in Hollywood are like, can you please cast, who's that chick that did Marvel? You know, can you hire her, please? Because then, I get a job as a stunt double. It's like, no, Gina Carano does not. Gina Carano does not need a stunt double.
Yeah.
So,
and she doesn't. She's amazing. Like,
she's awesome. She's like the Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
She's like a female Jackie Chan.
It's the same reason that the Fast and Furious series did Ronda Rousey and all those other female MMA fighters.
That's the other one I was thinking about. Yeah. So a chick that can act and handle herself. It's either Ronda Rousey or Gina Carano. But Gina Carano's done a lot more A-lister Hollywood movies. It's a bit like the Andy Serkis.
of live
argument.
action.
It's like we need a method actor that we can put into a suit to do this green screen stuff. Who do we get? Well, if we want the best, we go for Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
You need a female that is going to kick ass, not need a stunt double, and can act. It's Gina Carano.
Yeah, absolutely. And Run brings up a good point. And it's like one of the coolest things that I saw was when she like goes sideways on the Pondo Baba guy, grabs his head, spins him down to the ground in a takedown, and then uses his body as a shield. The guy gets shot in the butt and the leg. I mean, so not only did she just like take him down, which is very insulting, emasculating, it would be. But then she makes him get shot in the butt. I mean, that's just...
She can emasculate me.
Oh, Nev. But like, it's like it was a really cool scene, you know. And part of me when I first saw it, I was like, all right, that's cool. She's going in, she's cleaning out the den, you know, making sure she's honoring the Mandos because she's friends with Mando now, and you know, soldier game respects game kind of a thing. But like, then we find out she's the Marshal.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's more that she's the Marshal, and the Aqualings said it's the Marshal, you know.
Yeah.
In subtitle.
I didn't pay attention to the subtitles.
I know you didn't pay attention. It's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, she's very much that kind of gunslinger, John Wayne type. You know, you got to go through me if you want to get through the town type of thing, which I have to admit works because it's well written and she fits the part pretty easily.
So
I wouldn't compare her to Leia though.
Yeah,
completely. Leia could, you know, a strong wind could blow Leia over, but you know, when it comes to her, you know, her imposing ability regarding diplomacy, authority, you know, she's got that gravitas. She doesn't need to kick ass.
Yeah. So
you know, she's just walking along.
I
Can someone get
mentioned
this
Leia because she
walking
started
carpet
everything.
out of my way? It's like, and Chewie's like, I'm getting out of her. You know,
I'm gonna step back. I don't want to
I'm just
piss
gonna
off the
step out
little
of the
one.
way.
Yeah.
I'm an 8-foot
Honestly-
Wookiee, but yeah, I'm getting out of the way.
Cara Dune reminds me more of like episode 2 Padme than anything else. You know, she can kick your butt, but she can also talk you down and talk you around to her position. I guess more aptly Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Padme.
So
'Cause episode 2 is.
this is the thing that I loved about this. We're still continuing that very Western motif, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where each planet is essentially like its own city with, you know, a sheriff and so on. One of the things that I found really cool, and I don't know, I liked it because I still believe Cara Dune, like she carries off the Marshal, like she pulls it off. It's not like, I don't know, it's not like it's unbelievable, like, and it's, I don't know, it's a different swagger than we had from Cobb Vanth, right? Entirely different feel. Cobb Vanth was definitely Western gunslinger. Cara Dune is someone who is going to just beat the absolute crap out of you until you do what you need to do.
Those two characters would make awesome babies.
Oh my gosh, yes they would.
Oh yes.
That's the rom-com that we need in the Star Wars universe. I mean, if they ever give us a rom-com, that's what I want. Right?
And it must be directed by Seth MacFarlane.
It should be directed by Seth MacFarlane. Absolutely. Yes. But what's interesting, they land, so that scene ends, we get Mando and Baby Yoda landing. But before they land, that moment where Baby Yoda's trying to wire this ship.
I am Groot.
Like, it was...
Yep.
It was adorable.
Oh yeah.
It was
I
so
mean, he
fun.
totally redeemed himself from eating the frogs and then trying to eat the frogs the second time last week.
Yeah, like, I loved that moment when he shocked himself. Paul, what do you got?
I'll be right back.
Okay. Like I thought that was awesome. I thought it was so fun to see that interaction where Baby Yoda's not just an object, he's a being, right? Up until I don't know, in the last season, I felt very much that Baby Yoda was kind of just an object. But this season, I'm definitely getting more personality from him. And I don't want just a backstory. If he is gone, like if Baby Yoda does move on and I don't know, trains under Ahsoka or whatever. But if Mando drops him off and they part ways, which I mean it sounds like is the ultimate goal. He's going to find others of his kind. Like I want it to be tearful. I want it to be an emotional moment. I don't want it to be something as simple as, oh well, see a package that I've been carrying around forever. You know, and I think they're doing that. I think they're creating they're finally creating a character for this Baby Yoda. So I'm excited to see that. I'm excited for that to be part of the storyline. So, as they land, though, you get your two mechanics walking up, and Geek Girl, you pointed out at the beginning that there was something shady about the way that guy with Xerxes face mask walked up.
Yeah, it just the way that they did the camera focus, and that they held on like longer than they probably should have to not give themselves away. It just felt, I was like, okay, you want us to pay attention to this, and I'm like, cool. If you're gonna try and make me figure stuff out, don't be that obvious.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so there's always the MacGuffin. There's always the smoking gun.
Yeah, that's fair too.
So, you know, it's all not smoking gun, Chekhov's gun. You're always going to see those things because otherwise, you know, when they went into the base, I was like, oh, look, speeder bikes. Well, they showed the speeder bikes because the speeder bikes were going to be used later.
Yeah.
They showed that character, who, by the way, was played by Ryan Powers, who was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., just to point that out. A lot of the ancillary characters that we've seen this season have all been extra characters also in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Keeping it in Disney, that's all.
Yeah, keep it in the family, right?
Those people are on contract at Disney, so it's like they don't have to pay other actors.
True. Thank you, Run, for the donation. Yeah. So, but you're right. I mean, I think it's cool that they're keeping it all within Disney. To me, it brings it. It's just, I think it's fun. I know that they're doing it for probably other reasons, but to me, I like it. Being able to connect one actor to another, one actor to a different project, I think it's a lot of fun. But we move on, and we are introduced to two things. One, a school. Right? Like, I was kind of shocked by that. I was like, all right, that's kind of cool.
He's got that room has gone from I want to see the baby to I want to see tons of babies.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know, right?
Exactly. Like I gotta say though, I loved that scene when he was stealing the mint Oreos. That's what it were. That's what they were. Those were mint Oreos covered in like mint chocolate, mint white chocolate, and I'm right there with Baby Yoda. I would have force levitated those things right to me too if that kid wouldn't have shared. I mean, cookies are delicious, and I don't blame him even.
You guys would make me want cookies. This is not good for my diet.
Well, I'm totally gonna get on my last live stream. I talked about French fries for about 20 minutes. It was awesome. But anyways, we go through and that's a scene that I actually want to go back and look at because they were talking about the protocol. Paul, I love you. Run DMV mint Oreos are the freaking best. They are amazing. Every Christmas, white chocolate covered mint Oreos. I get it every Christmas in one box. That's one of my Christmas presents. I eat the whole damn thing in one sitting. and I don't regret it. I mean, it's like 5,000 calories. I don't care. So good. Anyways, where was I? Okay, so the protocol droid was talking about the universe, talking about hyperlanes and like trade routes and all that other stuff. She mentions like the inner core. She mentions the outer core or the outer rim, but she even talks about the expansionary area, which is not an area that I think like, and I need to go back and rewatch it and get the information, but it's going to be one of those little things that I think is definitely an Easter egg that's going to play into a greater part, right? Now,
definitely.
Yeah, like I absolutely, like I was telling these guys before we got on, I absolutely believe Thrawn will be in season 2. Mostly because I don't want to lose a bet to Paul, but like I think they're gonna. I mean, because Navarro is on the Outer Rim, isn't it? It's in the.
Yeah, but after this episode and the way that the message that you haven't gotten to yet and that ending scene, I was inclined to believe that Moff Gideon wasn't the only one pulling the strings. He was just the one we were seeing.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure that's still the case.
So you think that there's others that could be influencing?
Well, I thought maybe that he was like the middleman working for somebody else.
Yeah.
But I'm less inclined to believe that. I mean, there very well could be a Palpatine-esque figure that has, total control and is pulling everything, but they won't reveal that for a while.
Yeah. Maybe season ending type thing.
Yeah, maybe.
So, the next thing, right after the school, that he leaves Baby Yoda, I gotta say, it was really cute in my mind to see Mando like, I'm not gonna leave the kid alone. He goes where I go, because it was almost like I'm not ready to leave my child at school yet. Almost a very motherly approach to dropping his baby off for the first day. I wouldn't have been surprised if
he's dad.
But okay, so you're talking about the Oreos. Have you noticed how every single episode Baby Yoda eats something so far?
Yes.
Yes,
I have.
And
that's what babies do. Babies want to eat and chew everything.
I know, right?
Yeah. I was actually surprised that in the scene where he was fiddling with the wires, he didn't start eating one. Like biting one and then shock himself. I mean, he got shocked, which was hilarious, but I was expecting him to put it in his mouth.
I was cheering when he shocked himself. I'm like, yeah, learn.
I love it because if Mando goes, I think we've all seen the image where Baby Yoda's dressed in the Mandalorian armor. It's someone I don't know just did it on DeviantArt or something, but like it's just baby Mando walking in full Mando armor.
Which is adorable.
It is. But if Baby Yoda, if Mando leaves the show, or if he's gone, maybe Baby Yoda becomes the next Mando. I don't know. Probably not.
I'm more inclined to believe that they're gonna switch focus and switch over to Bo-Katan and that thing.
Yeah. We're not gonna get a Dread Pirate Mando.
That storyline. I mean, maybe, but.
All right. So we move on. The next scene, we enter Mithril, which we didn't get a name from him in episode 1, season 1. This is the blue guy that was put in carbonite. Opening scene. I can bring you in warm or hot, or I can bring you in cold, or warm or cold. I think
warm or cold.
If he
played
said,
by Horatio Sands.
Played by Horatio Sands. I think if he just said I can bring you in hot or cold, that may have come off as like a weird sexual advance, I can bring you in hot, or I can bring you
in warm.
Warm. Anyways,
stop.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm forcing my jokes tonight, and they're terrible. So we see that moment, and the moment he sees Mando, he farts.
No,
that was a fart. That was
not a fart.
He emitted he sharted in fact, because he emitted something out. That was a fart or a shart. I am not sure which, but I will stand by that. Like, he sees Mando and is like, poof, right? And the dust just sprinkles everywhere. I'm telling you, he sharted. But we get this, and then we get the crux of the episode. Hey, while your ship's in dock getting reworked on, could you help us destroy the Empire? Right? This little remnant, right? We get this, and I'm curious though, how did they not know that the Imperial presence was that strong here on Navarro?
Because they're trying to keep it a secret.
Yeah.
Trying to maintain a low profile.
But even still, wouldn't they get like ships? Wouldn't they get other supply crates? Wouldn't there be something that indicates?
Not if they're growing their own.
That's valid. Joe Central says you can't clone Force sensitive. We're gonna talk about that in a minute, Joe, because the argument is there. But they go to the Imperial place. They talk Mando into it. They go to the Imperial place, and we get they bring in Mithril with him, right? So it's Mando shoots up to the top, takes out everyone there, throws the one guy off of the top. We get the Star Wars cuss word again.
Which I've changed my in-game... damn it, I'm going to be in timeout. I've changed my in-game name to that. I'm going in timeout for 2 minutes.
Okay, now Paul is in timeout for 2 minutes. Now, for those of you who are new to the live stream, we are all players of a specific Star Wars game, which will go nameless during the show. Mm-hmm. If one of us makes a reference to it, if one of us speaks of it, we put ourselves in a 2-minute timeout. If one of our audience members says something to it, we will put you in a 2-minute timeout where you cannot comment. And so it is the game that shall not be named. And we all maybe know what that game is. So I've killed enough of maybe 30 seconds of Paul's time. That being said, Mando throws up. What do you think? Oh, Dank Scarif. Dank, what is the name? Mm-hmm. What's the word?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Dank Farrik. Thank you. Dank Farrik. What do you think Dank Farrik means?
Oh. I don't know. It could... I mean, it's not close enough to anything that I think it's like a specific one, but we'll see.
All right, I'm gonna say that I think Dank Farrik is the name of a maligned Mandalorian. So it's
interesting.
It's someone that they've started to take the name of in vain. Kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to be the case. Or, I mean, it could be a god or a deity or something, but I think it's going to be like a Mandalorian who betrayed a bunch of people and they start using his name as a swear. That's what I'm thinking.
Getting Munson.
Yeah, like getting Munson in Kingpin, which is also a great movie, by the way. So throws. I loved the moment where he throws the stormtrooper off and just lands right there at the bottom. I thought that was cool. Go up into the the elevator. I don't know what I was gonna say, the trooper transport, but he goes up to the top. Mando's just waiting there, and Mithril has a mini freak out when he sees that ship, right? That little trooper transport, right?
Yeah.
He has a nerdgasm there. He's like, woohoo! And he gets excited. They go in through. That's when they open the doors. He's got that little torch of sorts. It's the, what do you call that? Slicing kit. It looks like a little slicing device that we've seen in some of like the games, and I'm thinking of like the Old Republic. You're free. Welcome back, Paul.
Gotcha.
But it looks like a little slicing kit that we've seen in like KOTOR and some of the other games. But like he keeps breaking into these little places. That's where we see the speeder bikes, which I thought were pretty cool. I mean, it was nice to see more speeder bikes. We knew there were going to be speeder bikes in the episode because up until now, this is the last episode from the trailer where information has been sneaked, right?
Yeah, where we've seen clips of the episode in trailers. This is it.
Yeah.
Everything else is sight unseen.
Yes. Totally unknown. Totally, like, we don't know what's coming next. And which is both awesome and a little scary, to be honest. But very exciting time for fans of the Mando.
And by the way, Dank Farrik means son of a bitch.
Probably. Yeah, that's oh, sure. Yeah. It probably does. Okay, so they go through, they steal the code cylinders from the security guy, right? They put him in a headlock. I say they. Gina Carraro, Cara Dune, puts him in a headlock. Do you think she killed him?
Every stormtrooper dies if they get sneezed on.
So, yes.
Yeah, I concur.
You think? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Bucketheads are there to die.
That is true. That is true. So they go in, and I gotta say, like they're wandering through the tunnels here, and they come to that room. Okay, and this is the room with like the little bodies floating, and I've got to say, guys, I absolutely think 100% that we saw Snoke in one of those tubes. No? Why not?
Those were the test subjects that they were injecting the M class blood into, and we all know what the M stands for.
Monson.
No.
Midichlorian, right?
Midichlorian.
Now, but
I'm be interested to know what species they got the most success with, because obviously those were the ones that, ultimately those are the ones they're going to use.
True.
But like the guy said in the holo, they don't have any more samples, so they can't conduct any more tests. So
that's why they want to see the baby.
Yeah. And it's important to point out that he said that he nearly killed the child the last time he drew blood. And so I'm very curious. Now, and correct me here, because I got a little confused at this moment. It talked about the volunteer and the sample. Was the volunteer the baby? Was the volunteer the child? Or was it someone else?
The volunteer is whoever they put it into.
Okay.
Yeah, the volunteer. We don't know who the volunteer is yet.
And that's what I was wondering, because I was like, is someone being tested on? Or is someone, like, whatever, right? Because that's super interesting, right? We do know that Snoke was a clone, right? Because Exegol, there were all those Snoke bodies just kicking it. From the comics, we learn that Snoke was Force sensitive. So we know from new canon that you can, they've brought that back, you can clone Force sensitives. And Nev, correct me if I'm wrong, but old canon actually clones Force sensitives too, right?
Luke.
Yeah.
Right?
Luke was cloned in a Sparky tube, yeah.
Okay. So I'm really curious if they're going to bring other characters back from the old canon as they're starting to reintroduce some of these maybe even lesser known characters. What do you guys think?
Depends what they want to bring out of the extended universe. I mean, we know that Bo-Katan is, we know that Ahsoka is. I think, obviously, Boba Fett is, and I mean, I would argue that Ezra and Thrawn will also be there as well, because Disney's going to want Disney wants to bank on these popular characters because Bo-Katan, popular character.
Oh yeah,
Ahsoka Tano, popular character. Sabine as well, popular character. And then obviously you've got Ezra and Thrawn. These are characters that Disney can bank on in real life action, whether it's in this show or as a spin-off.
Run DMV in the chat says the volunteer was possibly the Mandalorians that were captured in the Purge.
Very very possible. Very possible. Geeker, what were you gonna say?
I totally lost my train of thought. I mean, it's interesting. I'm assuming because they talked about injecting the blood that they're trying to make someone force sensitive, versus cloning someone who's force sensitive. My first thought was that maybe they were trying to clone Anakin or something like that, but I'm actually curious whether or not they're trying to make Moff Gideon force sensitive to go with the Darksaber.
Interesting. That would actually be kind of a cool concept, right? Because then, like, if you had Moff Gideon, we know that he was connected to the Mandalorians. Maybe he developed some kind of like admiration for the Mandalorian culture. Maybe he's Mandalorian himself. Born Mandalorian. Right?
That's possible,
right? And maybe he's studied the Darksaber. Maybe he's done. We don't know, right? There's a lot of things that are up in the air there, but that would be really, really interesting. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be way cool. Because then you have a lot of different things. Now, this is where we get. Was it Admiral Blue Jean that we saw?
Right? Admiral Blue, yeah. Actually, on IMDb, there's actually an entry for Sam Winter, Admiral Jeff Blue Jeans, uncredited.
Awesome.
There's also in Wikipedia.
Yes.
One as well.
Right.
Because they can't admit that they made a mistake in editing.
No, of course not.
That they knew someone was gonna catch, so they just owned it and ran with it.
Yeah, I love that.
It's as bad as the Starbucks cup.
Yeah, it is ye old Starbucks cup.
Yeah. Oh, but I mean, I love it.
Or the exquisite bottled water from Downton Abbey.
Oh yes.
Oh.
Honestly, I can't believe that they didn't take enough takes that they couldn't find one without him in it. Like, honestly, I was like, that's just a failure in editing. Like,
yeah.
And I get that COVID and they were doing a lot of this remotely and, things get lost and stuff like that. But come on, you guys are going to do this.
You're showing it on the screen there.
Yeah. Yeah. I had to show it. I mean, he's now canon. Maybe.
It's now a meme, which is how I found out about it. And I didn't realize it was a spoiler. And I was like, oh, whoops.
Yeah.
It was trending on it.
That's awesome. So there's the fight. They start to flee. Mithril is freaking out. He's like, we're gonna die. Because how long did we set the timer for? Right? He's all freaking out. It was cool to see that he stepped up a little bit, and Horatio Sands is now an action hero.
He got 3 kills, I think.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He did a Jar Jar.
That was cool, but he did it on purpose. Whereas Jar Jar did all that stuff on accident. Horatio.
Also,
Jar Jar is the most successful accidental soldier ever.
Drunken Dark Jedi.
Yes.
He's a drunken Dark Master.
I could see that. I would love to see
His first kill was lucky. He was looking down and he stuck his, hand over the top and fired and got one.
Yeah, and then he got his foot caught in the droid's blaster arm, and he just kind of jumped around. And...
No. I'm talking about in the Mandalorian. His first kill.
Oh, yeah, that's true. the first kill was. I don't know though. It did look. I wanna. This is So of all the episodes, this is one that I will definitely watch again. Probably a couple more times, and definitely shot by shot for sure, because there's a lot that I want to dissect from this. And yes, Run DMV, he does fart out of his neck. That is absolutely what happens. I don't know if he did it again.
You guys love torturing
he
me.
is an aquatic of some kind, so he does have gills. Okay, yeah. So he could have very easily been, breathing heavily, which is no less creepy, but
yeah,
maybe better than farting.
He sneezed.
Yeah, maybe
mucus, right?
I mean, that's possible.
Yeah,
he could still be having carbonite trapped in the system. Which
that's true.
Weird, but
well, he can't see out of his left eye, or right eye, one of them. So it makes sense, right? I'm still holding that he's farting out of his neck.
We do not have a name for his species.
It must be a guy thing.
Yeah, we're gassy people. I'm gonna speak for all men. We fart, and we fart a lot.
Yes, we do.
I mean, it's just who we are as us. So, moving on. They escape, right? Mando shoots out of the volcano area, the geothermal location, and as he is doing so, we get, I think, 2 or maybe even 3 very cliche moments that I think.
God, there were so many of the so many lines from the original trilogy were used. There was the Wilhelm-ish scream. Yeah. So
I'm convinced that they just were reusing audio.
They might have been.
It sounded like they were reusing.
I mean, honestly, this was the best mixed from a sound editing point of view episode I've ever heard. Honest to God, like the music level was just there. It was perfect. The sound effects weren't too bloody loud like they always are.
Yeah.
It worked. Whoever I looked this up. Whoever sound mixed this did a phenomenal job.
Disney have to cut corners somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So
and that's the easiest way of doing
footage,
it.
Stock audio that they own costs them nothing.
True.
For crying out loud, they're still using sound effects from the year that Ben Burt went when he did the original New Hope. George Lucas sent him out, said, "Here, take a year, go record everything that interests you." There's still sounds that they have not used from that year.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that's cool to know.
Sound geek.
That's awesome. That's really neat. And
Disney owns the rights to it all.
Ben Burt is like my idol when it comes to sound design. Like he is really the one that defines kind of sci-fi sound design as we know it. Started with 2001 and then Star Wars expanded it and went from there. But yeah, he did a lot of very cool kind of I could go on for hours.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I mean, I'm convinced that the sound guys working on this show are like Star Wars fans, but the person who is in charge of the budget is not a Star Wars fan, and he's been employed because he's not a Star Wars fan. So when the sound guys and the editor guys are like, "Oh, we need to make this really, really cool," the budget guys like, "Do you have it on stock?" Well, yeah. Well, that's what you use. But it'd be so much cooler if we use this. That's what you use. You've got it on stock. Use that. But it's only going to cost us $500. We'll just get a voiceover extra. Use the stock footage. That's what it is. That's what I think. I think that the budget, the person in charge of the budget, is not a Star Wars fan, and all of the sound guys are like, right, okay, fine. We're going to scour all of the Star Wars back footage, and we're going to find cool audio from previous films that we can just tweak a little bit so that it sounds kind of fresh and new and like it's been put through, Dolby Digital.
Yeah, the sound. He had the head sound designer for this show has been a supervising assistant sound designer since the re-releases in the 2000s.
Oh,
So he started with Star Wars and has just worked for Skywalker Sound since then.
I got that when I got your joystick, Paul. When I was out at the same time I was out thrifting, I came across the gold DVD box, just the digitally remastered full screen versions, not the special edition. Just the digital remaster, full screen, 4:3 original, not widescreen, not the silver box set, the gold box set.
Nice.
Those this week.
I had something, but I've lost it. So, but as they're one thing that I loved from this whole scene, him escaping, is you never see someone fall in continuity, right? Like they fall and then they disappear. You saw the guy fall from the top, and then as they reached later on, like as they were going back through the thing, you see his body continue to go through this chute. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was just like a really cool touch for this episode. Like I felt like there was a lot of little things like that throughout, and that was one of them for me. Just like he fell down into the shaft, and then like stormtroopers came out and were shooting up, and then you see his body continue to fall. I thought that was so much fun. Okay. They're shooting. They need an escape vector. Where do they go to? Well, they go to the thing that was introduced by Mithril, saying, "Oh, look at that thing that's awesome." Cara Dune jumps in, hijacks it. Paul calls it GTA Navarro, right? Or Gran Turismo Navarro. And so, like, she picks him up, she saves him, and then jumps off the cliff. Right? Just, right, completely dives off the cliff. Another awesome moment.
No, it wasn't. It was the downfall of the episode.
Was it?
Yeah. They did a GoldenEye.
All right, explain to me.
Sorry, not a GoldenEye. They did a World Is Not Enough. And by that, what I mean is, in the world is not enough, and James Bond's got that boat, and then the boat drives, even though it's got no wheels, and it starts driving around on the streets, and you can hear wheels screeching, and it's like there's no wheels, it's a boat, and you're steering on streets. They did the exact same thing with that ship. So instead, you shouldn't be hearing a motor running and like a car engine with wheels spinning, because it doesn't have wheels. It's on repulsor lifts. So whoever was working on the audio for that screwed up.
All right.
I'm like, it's not a car. It's not a buggy. It doesn't have wheels. So why are you putting audio in there as if, it's a vehicle driving away? It's not. It's on repulsor lifts. It's floating away. It's blasting away. So yeah,
I didn't pick up on that at all.
Did you not pick up on that? You'll have to watch it back.
I will. Good Geek Girl, did you pick up on that?
A little bit, yeah. But
okay.
At the time, I just dismissed it as a doubling of the engine sound.
Yeah. To me it was just engine noise, right? And the screaming of Mithril and Grief Karga as they were plummeting off of this giant face, giant built into the mountain. I don't know, what would you call that? Docking bay?
Cliff.
It's a giant cliff. They don't know what's gonna happen, right? And then, of course, they smash up the speeder or Mithril speeder, land cruiser, whatever you want to call it, which was upsetting to Mithril. And I think really anyone who has a car, if that were to happen, you'd be upset, right? You'd be a little peeved, right?
I've had a tree fall on one of
But this is what I think the difference would be. Give Mithril the tree, aka this little device. That needs to be his new vehicle from now on. The next time we see Mithril, he needs to be cruising around in that thing.
And it will, and because it's played by Horatio Sands, it will then be a lowrider.
Which makes sense.
Have some ground effects.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
To Horatio Sands' past character.
Yes. I would love that. I thought Horatio Sands did a great job in this. Right?
Oh yeah.
I thought he did great in episode 1 of season 1. I thought that was really cool, but it's such a minor character that I was like, okay, whatever, that's not a big deal. Then I found out that it was Horatio Sands. I was like, oh, that's neat. But here you actually see him embody the character, and I think he did a wonderful job. Like it was awesome. Let's see, my stream is
buffering like mad.
Buffering like crazy. So okay.
It's still going. It's been live to
right.
me.
All right. So
there is some delay as we go on, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So I'll just make sure my internet's off on my phone. I don't know if that helps at all. But so we move on. There's the flight scene where the TIEs take off. They're chasing the crew, right? Mando's gone.
Well, first off, we get him shooting out you totally skipped over Grief Karga's shots.
Oh yeah, right. The speeders.
Yeah, he was as bad as a stormtrooper.
Oh my gosh. No,
not yet on this. This is where he's taken out the speeder bikes. He takes one out directly. Then Cara Dune slams one into the thing, but the one that got on top turns the turret around and hits the guy with the grenade that's about to toast them all.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was such a cool moment. I was tense as I was watching that. I was like kind of like gripping my chair a little bit, and he blows up, and I'm like disintegration, right? That was such a cool moment, right? Cara Dune with the speeders, she just crushes one into the cliff face, the cliff wall. Oh my gosh, right? I mean, there's no love lost between Rebels and Imperials, but goodness gracious, that was a power move. I mean, that was like, that's not a way anyone should go out or would want to go out in my mind, like ever. That would be like the worst pain.
But it's quick, at least.
That's true, I guess. Unless like they're still like shriveling in the back with their body.
Let's not think about that.
Yeah,
it's
okay.
It's a stormtrooper.
It's a stormtrooper. They deserve. They get what
honestly,
they deserve.
he was so blown up that it just felt like they were like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna roll a stormtrooper helmet out in the next shot, just to convince you that he's actually dead."
And it worked in my mind. It would have been a little gruesome if like a skull had then rolled out of the head, but it would have added something to it. I mean, it would have been kind of neat. I think. I don't know.
It reminds me of when the water tower hits the bandits on the train. Western throwback. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Absolutely. Loved it. So then yes, TIE fighters come in. Grief takes out a couple of them, but can't shoot worth a darn. He's like, Paul said something during the live stream, which would have made a lot of sense, that Grief was like creating debris, right? What were you saying, Paul?
Yeah, creating debris to try to knock them, down to affect their aim. I can understand that too.
Yeah.
Trying to take down a cliff face to knock one down, but apparently you guys just think that Grief had bad aim.
Well, no, like he says he has bad aim. Like later on, she's like, "What's going on?" And his response is, "You try to shoot these things, right?" Which, I mean, in all fairness, she's driving, he's shooting. It's difficult. It's not easy, right? And everyone thinks they can do a better job than the person doing it. So, whatever. Make it into the opening, and as you come down, as they're about to you get the target lock from the TIE. He's about to click, and boom, blows up. Razor Crest is miraculously fixed, looking like it always has, looking awesome. Like no more of that, sheet metal just hanging from the sides. So the mechanics there in Navarro are good at what they do. Right. And they blow him up. I loved the chase scene here. I thought this was a lot of fun. You see Baby Yoda in the back just eating up the rest of his mint Oreo cookies, and like giggling as his father figure murders and kills and flies and destroys, right? Which I thought was awesome.
Excellent marketing from Disney there. Excellent marketing. I guarantee you that snack will be on the shelves for Christmas.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. If not on the shelves, definitely something that you'll see in Batuu at the Disney parks. That is, I mean, we call it I've been calling it the mint Oreo. I mean, it's a
wafer.
It's a wafer. It's
we've got those.
The little
in the UK we have those sweets in the UK. They're called flying saucers, and it's exactly the same shape as it's in that show. It's made of wafer and it's got sherbet on the inside.
Oh, there you go.
We have those. We have those sweets in the UK. They're called flying saucers.
Okay. When I saw them, to me it looked like mascarpone. It's essentially what you just described.
Milanos.
Yeah. Macron. Macron? That's not.
Milanos.
Macaroon. That's what it is. Macaroon. Thank you, Nev.
Macaroon's a nut. Macaron is the cookie.
Oh, I'm pretty sure Nev's right on this one.
I'm gonna find an image. I'll send it to you.
Yeah. So Mando and Joe Central points out, right? This is definitely frontier feeling, right? You've got three people, 3 ties left, and Mando is taking them out, all 3 of them. And this definitely has that feel. It still has a Western shootout feel, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead of like riding in on horses, they're riding in on starships, right? I loved that. What do you guys, Paul? You've been kind of quiet. Give me your thoughts on this last scene.
Which last scene are we talking about?
I
was actually I went on mute to check something that we're going to be talking about for the literal last scene.
Oh no, I'm not the literal.
There you go,
scene.
Thad. It's in Discord.
Macaroon. Let me make sure.
No, not macaroons. Flying saucers.
Oh, okay. So
you'll see the green one, and you'll be like, "Yeah, that's what he was eating."
That is what he was eating. So let me bring this up. Yeah, Nev, that is it.
That is exactly what was. That is the switch. It's something that's already made. They just need to be in a pack and all green.
Yeah.
And with a 500% markup because.
Oh, of course. Because why would you not? Right? You're Disney. Why wouldn't?
Honestly.
I mean, why wouldn't you do that? Yeah. Anyway, so the final battle scene. So not the final scene, but the final battle scene, where Mando Razor Crest is coming in.
I loved seeing the Razor Crest in flight action.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, and I kept going. Wait, there's one more. There's one more. There's one more.
Yep. And that whole time, Baby Yoda's just like, hee hee, death and murder, destruction, woohoo! You know his first words are going to be kill, because he's dark like that. I'm pretty sure that if we were to have gone back and seen what happened at the school, that little boy that he took the cookies from would be dead. I'm pretty sure little Baby Yoda killed him, just so he had no witnesses. You know, I don't know, but scene ends. They don't land. They're flying off to their next location, Corvus, which we learned from the last episode is where they're going to find Ahsoka. This is post-Imperial, right? This is post-Empire, and so this is the remnant of the Empire, and being that they were part of a cloning facility, there's going to be a lot, in my mind, there's going to be a lot of connection with the sequel trilogy. But one way or the other. We'll find out more of that later on. We see a captain, a Imperial, receive a hologram, and it is that weird-looking space alien who, at the beginning, was fixing Mando's ship.
It's an Acclimator class assault ship.
An Acclimator class assault ship.
And I can confirm what was said in the very, very final scene. We'll get to that.
Okay. And so on that ship, the code comes in and says, hey, the Razor Crest now has a tracking bug placed in it, and we are going to follow him, right?
Oh, sorry, no, I've made an error, mate. Sorry, it's a command cruiser. Sorry,
command cruiser. Okay.
And by the way, before
not an assault ship, it's a command cruiser.
Before that scene with the comms officer, we did have we once again did have Red Wolf, who is not. Red Wolf.
Good call. Yeah, we saw again Captain Carson Teva, right? He was the guy that was there on the ice planet who helped save Mando, right? He was the one shooting off all the
inquiring about Mando again.
Yeah, right. And he asks. He talks to Cara Weathers.
Carson Teva, yep, you're right.
He talks to Cara Weathers. He talks to Cara Dune, and
gives her a gold business card, I think.
Yeah. So
yeah, pretty much.
So I'm totally. To me, it was totally reminiscent of we are officially sanctioning you as a law officer. It was like a badge, right? We're giving you we recognize you have the authority. Here's your rank and insignia. Right. When she's investigating later on crimes and whatnot, she'll be like Cara Dune, Navarro Marshal, or whatever.
But real quick, Joe Central O, who's been hilarious in chat all this time, says, "Is nobody gonna cry for the boiled clones, but you'll cry about non-fertilized eggs?" When Baby Yoda was eating the eggs.
To me, I thought those were giant pop balls, those little bobas, that you put in C&Ts and stuff. For the last
whatever.
Week, no, seriously, dude, for the last week, I've been searching every market I can find in my area for those things. I've come to the fact that I can only get them on Amazon, and by Tuesday of this coming week, I'm gonna have some so that I can make a drink. And I could be drinking those little. That's what I thought, man. I got nothing. I don't see them as eggs. I see them as delicious bursts of flavor. And I totally understand.
I mean, you could theoretically get giant versions of boba.
Yeah, I was at school the other day trying to teach a how-to lesson on how to write something, and part of my lesson was how to create boba balls from tapioca starch. And that's just too much work. I don't want to do that. But
they're fantastic. That's so when you good. Get I think King of Random did a video where they made a giant version of boba.
Yeah, okay. All right. So Carson Teva gave her the Alderaan medal that he had. That makes a lot more sense. I didn't know exactly what it was.
Okay.
But that makes sense that he would give her his Alderaan medal because she lost everyone on Alderaan.
That is a British style gigantic one.
That's okay. So that's cool.
No, it's not. We don't have big ones. We don't have big medals
Nev,
in Britain.
This is a family show.
I think he's going to get his medals.
Oh.
That's cool. No, I was thinking I've been binge watching The Crown.
There you go.
They're not big. They're not that big.
Small.
Are those yours, Nev?
What the?
That's awesome, man.
I was thinking of the. I'm getting off track. Anyways, I was watching The Crown, and they had the wedding, and
my mom's watching that now.
Ones.
Dickie Dirks.
So Kosovo, Northern Ireland, former Yugoslavia, Kosovo, just for being in for 5 years, and Iraq.
Wow. Well, thank you. Awesome, Nev.
And I was only in for 9 years.
Impressive.
Yeah. 9 years longer than I was.
One long piss up.
Okay, so Dickie Darkside says Boba has actually been running Boba's bubble tea all these years, which
I like it.
I think on Tatooine is a good business model. I mean, people want to drink stuff. Totally makes sense. Probably just selling them to the Tuskens, right?
and Run DMV calls us on the tangent alert.
Yes, true.
Yeah, he's not wrong.
He's not. No. Okay, so you're right. That
All
was
right, so comms officer tracking Razor Crest tells Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
So first off, before we do this, did we know she was Alderaanian?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think we did know about I swear we remember that from the first part, from the first season.
I want to say that I think we knew
been
that
a while,
too,
so maybe.
but like I don't remember, you know? And when I heard that she was Alderaanian, like, and then talking about the war, I was like, whoa, like something about that moment. And I I don't know why I forgot that, but like that was just an awesome moment for me, like very powerful. And I think foreshadowing of her going to be fighting the good fight again, right? Not just as the Marshal, but I think she will be part of the New Republic. But that's
now with that background, I want her to appear on the Cassian show.
Yes. Oh.
Okay, let's also look at it this way. Since if they go down that route, yeah, I unfortunately can't change the slow chat. That's gonna have to be Thaddeus that kills the slow down mode. So if we go down the route where she starts to fight for the New Republic, we are sadly going to have to see Cara Dune go the way of Rogue One characters, because we don't have a Cara Dune in the sequels anywhere. So therefore she would have to die.
Cara Dune.
Well, by that point, they could retire her. I mean, that's 30 years down the line. If she was old enough to be off of Alderaan,
yeah,
you know, she's in Leia's generation. Leia was relatively old in Force Awakens, so she could just be retired somewhere.
Yeah, you're getting off the point here. The sequel trilogy is going to get written out of canon.
Well, that too.
I think you're right.
We discussed this last season. It's going to get written out of canon. We all know it. Everybody knows it.
I think you're right. I think that's what they're working towards. I don't think they're
going between worlds.
I don't think they're going to write it all off. I don't.
It's not that they're going to write it off. It's that somebody, you know, that they are going to go back. They are going to use a world between worlds to do some time traveling. They're going to go to his room of mirrors on the Death Star during Return of Jedi and kill Palpatine, so that nothing after that point happens as it did happen. So it's not rewrite. It's not removing it from canon.
It's just
rewriting canon.
Yeah.
It's Back to the Future. You know.
Yeah.
It's Biff getting the almanac, you know.
Twin Pines Mall becomes Solo Pines Mall.
Alternate 1985. And it's not our 1985.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to 1955.
So
you know, that's the central point. But the central point in the Star Wars universe will be Return of the Jedi.
So, but then the question is, which 1985, which Back to the Future are we living in?
Well, they're going to create a new one.
Biff's. Oh, that makes sense.
Biff's.
You know, I mean, a new 1985.
They kind of, if you've seen has everybody seen the holiday special?
No,
yes.
But I don't care, so spoiler ahead.
They touch on this a little bit in the holiday special because they do the Life Force time traveling thing, and they go all over the place, and they try and reconnect, and they try and take out Vader for Palpatine to stop.
We talked about this, but know that there's also
it's Lego.
there's also characters that should not be, Kylo was still alive in this version, so you can't take Lego seriously.
No, I
that
know.
case.
I'm just saying they're already playing with that idea.
Yes, and it's a perfect place. You're right, Geek Girl. It's a perfect place to introduce the concept to see if people can embrace it. Right? I mean, do it with Lego so that... Did I upset her?
No, I think she had to go away for just a second.
Okay. I was like, I cut her off. I totally did. I feel bad. But like, it's a perfect place to introduce Lego, or the concept with Lego, and then embrace it later on, right? And do the retcon that Nev is talking about. I have a knife. Sorry. It's a carpet knife, so I can staple my carpet to my walls.
And ceiling.
Well, that's just insulated padding. Anyways, I think.
Okay, then.
I think it would be a great place to introduce it. Start with that. I mean, and then bring it full. I think Nev might be right about all of this, and I don't.
I am.
I don't like saying that very often.
They basically said that in a couple of different places that it's not necessarily canon.
People are excited at the prospect of that. People are just excited at the prospect of them doing it, because then everybody's like, if they do it, they don't have to take into consideration the sequel movies, the sequel trilogy, moving forward with all TV series. So they can do anything they want in the TV shows with a clean slate.
Yeah, and I mean, the films had parts that were good. Don't get me wrong.
The cinematography, that's it.
Yeah, the cinematography was good, but they failed at a core storyline level to be able to do any kind of character development. And now, granted, Rian Johnson gave J.J. Abrams the big flat finger and said, "Screw you," and I'm doing my own thing. But
well, and then Jar Jar Abrams did the exact same thing back to him in Episode 9.
Yeah, there was no storyline progression, and it was just a giant, like, I've read fan fictions that are better constructed than those movies.
Absolutely. I do think that there's some value to it, but there's so much that's just all over the place that they dropped the ball. They did. Finn could have been an amazing character. Poe could have been an amazing character. Rey could have been an amazing character, but everything was just done poorly. Yeah, unfortunately. They're the only movies, and I've said this many times, for me, it's books over movies 100% of the time. That's why in the section below, you can find a link to Audible. Get 1 month for free, 2 free books, Star Wars books. They're amazing.
If people click that link,
highly recommend the Ahsoka book. It's read by Ahsoka. It's fantastic.
Yes.
Thaddeus, if people click on that link, aren't you compensated for signups for that service?
I am compensated. Only a little bit. But it's worth it.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Run. It is a shame that, Adam Driver is kind of he's the one person that was actually decent in these films. But because of this, his career has skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So I think
all their careers have tanked.
I don't know if they've all tanked.
Point me in the direction of an A-list movie that any of them have been in.
The Marriage Story.
Adam
Driver was in The Marriage Story, which was nominated for Oscars.
Oscar nominations mean nothing.
But they do. You can't just throw it out.
I'm not going to sit here and argue with you about the merits of actors from rehashing.
Oscars used to mean something.
Yes.
Oscars used to mean something. They really did.
I agree.
It's becoming a trope with
Yeah.
Neil hates the sequels. Yes, we get it.
Yeah. No,
Well, the
No,
Oscars
no,
is
there are-
also
there are-
meaning
there are-
because of the new quotas that they
There are
have to meet
movies.
now.
There are movies that get nominated for Oscars that shouldn't get nominated for Oscars.
I
And
agree
there
with
are
that.
movies that
2012
get.
was
I
the
mean,
last
there are
year
movies that
that-
get nominated and win Oscars that deserve it. Like,
Yeah.
The Hurt Locker.
Mm-hmm.
Incredible movie, awesome. But when you look
2012
at
was
some
the
of the
last
other
year
movies
that,
that
they did
get
a
nominated
bunch of
alongside
movies
it,
that
you're
were
like,
actually good.
really?
Deanna, I don't know if that was too soon or not.
Wow, I just saw that.
Oh yeah.
Man. I mean,
Somebody just went dank,
I mean,
dank,
to be
dank.
fair,
Thank Ferrick.
of what I've read from the Colin Trevorrow script, like it was Leia front and center. It was going to be her movie.
Yeah. And
honestly, I think they should have done the CGI version.
yeah.
And just done it. Because it
a little bit
for Rogue
works,
One.
but an entire movie.
It would have been hard. It would have been
an entire movie would have been. See where they CGI'd her in at the end of Rogue One, that small area, and where they CGI'd in Moff Tarkin, a small bit, a snippet. It's like, oh, cool. How cool, it's like a cameo.
Yeah.
It's a CGI cameo. I think a CGI cameo can be pulled off, but an entire, we don't want another Final Fantasy on our hands, do we?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, and that's what they're going to do with Black Panther. When they start filming next year, they're going to have him on for a very short amount of time. He's going to die, and then Suri's going to take over.
Oh.
They should just go with Suri straight away. I mean, they did it. That's what they did in the comic books.
Yeah, I agree.
Spoiler alert.
I think they're doing this out of respect for his family and for the fans, and to give that little bit of closure, and then move on. My guess is it'll be some kind of funeral scene.
Yeah. I don't know if we need a spoiler duck for that.
If you didn't know, you haven't been paying attention to movie news.
So Joe Centrallo does point out, he says that Yoda didn't want to train Luke. He wanted to train Leia. That's actually reinforced in this latest Star Wars from a certain point of view, the return of the Empire Strikes Back. You get a moment from Obi-Wan's perspective, and he's like, I had to convince Yoda to do it, Yeah.
Although if you haven't read either of those books, they are fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm halfway through A New Hope right now.
All right. I haven't. It might be a Christmas present, so no.
I'll stop talking. I'll stop talking. Okay. That being said, we get to the final scene. We get to the final scene. Moff Gideon. Paul, speak.
I went back and I watched with descriptive audio the very, very final scene of this episode. At the very end, Moff Gideon surveys the immobilized dark troopers. Quote unquote.
Not death troopers. Dark troopers.
Dark troopers.
Now, the dark troopers are from old canon, right?
They are. They're from Empire. They're from the Dark Empire book.
Dark Empire books.
Okay.
Which are fantastic.
I did not read them.
Dude, I'll send you you my scanned copy.
I have them.
Oh, you've got them. Oh, right. I was about to say, I've
I have
Dark Empire and Dark Empire 2 on graphic novel, and I scanned them bad boys before I flogged them.
And if I have read it, I've listened to it, but it's been so many years that it's gone.
Yeah, the Dark Empire graphic novels came out in 1992, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're nearly 30 years old.
Okay. So
91 and 92.
91, 92, yeah.
They're as old as I am.
I was in school when I read them.
So someone fill this in. Who are the Dark Troopers?
Dark Troopers are Force-sensitive stormtroopers.
All right. So we were just looking at their armor, right? That wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Because the way that I remember, and maybe it was.
Well, in front of immobilized dark troopers.
Oh,
So it could be them in the armor, just immobilized.
yeah, that would be really interesting. So this story could not only continue with the Mandalorians versus Force sensitive Imperials, but we could also see a reason to bring in other Force sensitives, those who trained as Jedi, those who trained or have been
Ahsoka. Ezra.
Yeah, Ezra, Thrawn, and the Chiss. I mean, maybe not Thrawn, but like maybe Thrawn. I mean, oh my gosh! Like
you keep using that name. I don't think it means what you think it means.
It does.
Right?
It does. Thrawn's coming. He's okay.
No.
The final book is it's the third book of the series. No, the second book of the new Thrawn trilogy is called The Greater Good.
The greater good.
The Greater Good.
Greater good.
The Greater Good. Shut it!
Well, a slight change. If anybody wants to read the Dark Empire, they are on Comixology Unlimited. You can get a free month trial if you want to on Amazon.
Are you an affiliate that you could get a link?
I am. If you're not.
No, but I can copy and paste the link.
Well, if Thaddeus has a link that would support his channel, let's have him throw that.
I do. But so yes, Moff Gideon standing in front of immobilized dark troopers, not death troopers, dark troopers, and he gets. What is the final thing that he says? I totally spaced it. Like, how does it end?
Something about meeting them there, and we will meet them.
Paul, you just watched it again. How does it end?
I turned on descriptive audio, so I wasn't.
Oh, Paul.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry, but by the way, Greater Good does come out May 4th next year.
The Greater Good. Paul, Nev, I love that you just quoted.
Shaun of the Dead.
No.
Not Shaun of the Dead. Hot Fuzz.
Hot Fuzz.
The Greater Good.
The
Great movie.
Greater Good.
I'm pulling it up. I'll get you. I'm gonna go mute and I'll get you what he says. Hang on.
So he does. But one way or the other, he does. This is something, right? We're not done with this guy, right? We're not going to be done with.
But
Moff
he's
Gideon.
definitely got a boss.
Does he?
Yeah.
So here's what we know about what's his name, about Moff Gideon right now, okay, or about the Empire. So the Empire is split into factions. It's a remnant. Yeah,
it's a remnant.
It's the
so
remnant.
There are various different systems that the New Republic just simply couldn't get to. So they stayed under Imperial rule. And with the death of the Emperor, they all started giving themselves, grandiose titles, Moff this, Grand Moff that, High Grand, they all gave themselves individual unique titles that didn't necessarily mean what
they used to
a military rank would mean.
Yeah.
So he may, they may have just been governors and they declared themselves Moffs, or they declared themselves Grand Moffs. That's what the governors of the Imperial governors of the various different sectors that weren't taken back into the New Republic fold did. And they had there was a remnant Empire council. They would still get together with each other so that they could trade and that they could collaborate and talk with each other. So, and there was always one person that they would collectively look to as being in charge of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I'm thinking. There's a big bad out there somewhere. And
Well,
my money is still on it being thrown.
It's not though. At this moment in the new books, it's Admiral Ray Sloan. she is the one who's in charge of the remnant. She's the one who meets with the New Republic. She's the and she was on Moff Tarkin. She studied under Moff Tarkin. She's fought Kanan Jarrus. She worked with Thrawn for a bit, not a ton.
So is she the political head of the
military
the Empire, the Empire?
She's the She was the military head.
Oh, for God's sakes!
Yeah. So
they just said they didn't even have the decency to make it Palon.
Thrawn's
old number one.
Okay, so Palon is back though.
Yeah.
We saw Palon in Thrawn in the new Thrawn trilogy. Palon is out there.
Yeah, he's around. We just don't know what's going on with him. He could be one of these Moffs.
He could be Sloane's boss, but we don't know.
Yeah, but
no, because Palon was an honorable man. That's why Thrawn had him as his number one. He wasn't an inherently evil person. But
the role in the new trilogy is.
Obviously they've tweaked and changed the character of the new canon Palon over the old canon Palon.
Because that role has, I think, taken by the farm boy from Outer Regions. I don't remember his name, but
Eli Vanto?
Eli Vanto. Yes, Vanto. So, but here's the thing, right? We know that the final order given to, or the first order given to upon the death of Palpatine was to kick everyone out into rebel space. Operation Cinder was thrown in. They took down all of those really crappy Imperials who weren't obeying, who were just out for their own. He decimated them, and he sent those red-hooded, I almost said red-headed, but those red-hooded mimic bots out to everyone he trusted, right?
All the source here is canon from Battlefront 2.
Yes, Battlefront 2, right? And I'm curious though, because he had these cloning facilities set up, did Moff Gideon get one of those faces? Did he get one of the clones? I think that it's very possible. The big baddie could be dead Palpatine.
It always has been dead Palpatine from the shadows.
Yeah.
Now, by the way, the final words were the tracking beacon has been placed on the Razor Crest. Does he still have the asset? Yes, that's confirmed, and we will be ready.
Okay. So they're ready. No, whether they're ready for him on Corvus, or wherever.
We know we're going to Corvus.
Yeah.
Corvus, by the way, they spelled with a K.
Did they? Oh, for some reason I thought it was a C.
In one spot it was spelled with a C, and another spot it was spelled with a K. We'll find out when we finally get there what it truly is.
Maybe one of them's the city and one of them's the planet.
Oh, it could be.
That would be stupid if they did something like that.
We have gone very, very long. Let's go ahead and get this wrapped up. I'll start. Out of 5 pieces of Beskar, I'm giving this one a 4.9.
4.9.
4.9.
All right.
There was a little bit of for as much as we love this show and are really into it, there was still a little bit of it took me out CGI issues. Kind of like how Neil gets taken out by hearing a motor on a repulsor lift. I get taken out.
Yeah. Sometimes the audio. Yeah, that's a good analogy. Yeah. The CGI takes you out of it sometimes. The audio takes me out of it sometimes.
Yep. All right, Tonks.
All right. Geek Girl, what are your thoughts?
I'm going to give it a 4.75. Like the other guys, I'm taking a little bit off. It was fantastic storyline wise, but the production issues were evident. The fact that they had a crew member just randomly standing there, that's hard to ignore. aside from some of the other like weird little tweaks with the audio and stuff like that. And so I mean, it was a good episode. I'll admit I didn't particularly care for Mithril. I wouldn't have cared if he came back at all. Like, he just didn't seem useful.
Comedy relief without the funny.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of like Jar Jar. Didn't work for me, but.
All right. Nev.
Yeah, it's a 4-5 for me. There's just some audio in there that jarred me, and the comedy relief wasn't funny.
All right. Now, here's my thing, okay? This was all but a perfect episode for me. I knew Admiral Blue Jean was there, but I didn't see him, right? I've been reading through the comments, people have said that you can see through the visor of Mando 3 times. I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice it either.
Like,
Dickie Darkside says Darth Blue Jeans is actually behind everything. It's Admiral Blue Jeans.
It's Admiral.
And yes, he is behind everything because he's a set director.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to, in the extended versions of whatever, I definitely want to see an interview with Admiral Blue Jean. For sure.
Oh yeah.
But as I'm watching this, like, and again, I'm trying to reserve perfection for perfection, right? And it was almost there. Like, I don't know what could have made this better, but I feel like I would have known it if I'd seen it. I loved the pacing. I loved the throwbacks. I loved the audio outtakes. Those were things I really enjoyed. I'm going to give it a 4.75. Just because it's not there yet. This may be the best episode we've seen so far in my mind. But it's just not there yet. Yeah, I know, Paul. To me, this may be the best episode so far.
Even better than number 1. You had to watch one of these 2 episodes so far. Do you watch the one with Boba Fett's armor, or do you watch the one with Admiral Blue Jeans?
That's a hard question. I've got to go back and watch both of them anyways. Or I'm going to go back and watch both of them anyways. So, the Boba Fett was awesome. There was just something continually good about this episode. And I think what this is doing for me overall, series-wise, this is building a universe. Just like Nev has continued on with this, this is building a television universe that I'm absolutely going to get behind. And I love that.
Joe C says, I won't rewatch Spiders. No.
I'm not sure I'd watch the Spiders either. But yeah, so overall, I think we're above a 4.5. We're
above a 4.75 because both of you were 4.75. I was a 4.9.
Was this better than the Sisters episodes of the Clone Wars? That's tough because those episodes were, I'm sorry. Yes, it was very much better than the Sisters episodes of the Clone Wars. For so many reasons.
Were kind of pointless in my mind.
The Happy Days episode where the Fonz jumps sharks, literally where he literally jumped the shark, was better than those episodes.
Yeah. The frogs need Beskar. I'm sure I'm misreading that, but yeah.
How do you trust the frogs? They sold him for Beskar. I wouldn't. I think that the restaurant owner sold him for Beskar more than the shop owner, than the frogs did.
Yeah, but
because the frogs did see Bo-Katan.
Yeah, and after the episode, or after that moment when they were rescued, the frogs washed over Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know that he tried to eat some more of those eggs. You know what happened. But
you're gonna have to go back and count how many eggs are left in the tank. Did they give the child one of the eggs to just stop him from eating the rest.
Yeah. So
it had to have been at least half of them that he ate.
Yeah. I think so too. Anyways, Paul, will you? What? First off, I'll go with Geek Girl, and then Paul and Nev. Geek Girl, what do you guys have going on this weekend? Or this week?
Well, if my PC behaves itself, I'm gonna do GAC tomorrow, and then I'm going on vacation. So I hopefully will have a stream tomorrow. If not, I will not be back until the following round of GAC. So.
All right. Well, good luck to you. Paul, what do you have going on?
I'll defer to Neil on this one, then I'll take over.
All right.
Well, we've got our usual GA Center on Tuesday, where we round up week 3 of the month. So see how many people have gone 9-0. I probably won't be streaming my GAC for the first time in a very long time tomorrow, because I'm helping my mum sell some stuff on eBay.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Mothers come first, man.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on how things go with Mrs. Anthony, I may or may not be around. We'll see if Jackbox happens tomorrow. We'll see if we'll definitely have GA Center, as Neil said.
Mm-hmm.
But there very well may be a 12-hour Thanks streaming coming up for Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
We'll see what happens there. What's that?
Star Wars Squadrons.
I very well may play in some Squadrons, Neil, especially if they put out the custom matches.
Nah, custom matches aren't until next month, mate.
All right.
But we are getting a new map this month.
Oh, nice.
All right.
Nice.
Well, lots of fun stuff coming up on the Escape Pod cast as well. And you can find us at twitch.tv/escapepodcast. You can find Geek Girl at twitch.tv/geekgirl1980. And you can always find Thaddeus on this very, very channel and on twitch.tv/realgoingnerdy. What do you have coming up, Thad?
Oh, it's so good. So I have a list of books that I've realized I haven't reviewed yet. And I just finished listening today to that one book that I mentioned earlier. Star Wars from a point of view.
A certain point of view, Empire Strikes
Back Edition. Yes, that one that I need to review.
I'll make sure not to watch it until after Christmas.
Please do. Additionally, I've got some other things going. I'm putting together what would a Bad Batch crew kit look like?
I love your speculation videos. You are the speculation king.
Yeah, it's really just me ranting for about 20 minutes. So, additionally, I've got outside of some book reviews, I've been really considering putting together some additional canon material, like what's going on. But most importantly, I have some binge watching of some television shows I need to get through. That's very important to me. Binge watching. So, it's a Nick Frost TV show with Simon Pegg called Truth Seekers. It's all about paranormal stuff. Super creepy.
Okay.
Super creepy.
I've seen ads
when you
for
said
that.
TV show with Nick Frost and Simon Pegg, I thought you were going to say Spaced for a minute then.
No. Although I hear that's good.
It's incredible.
Once again, this episode has been dedicated to Edward Stevenson. We love you, and thank you for everything that you've done in our lives. That's all I could say about that. And literally, when I say this, it's because of this. Protect those that you love. Wear a freaking mask. COVID's real. And please, be nice to each other, damn it. And remember to smile.
And stay nerdy.